TCOM 205, also known as Introduction to Technical Communication. This class was my very first online class. In TCOM 205, each week started out with video lectures and chapter readings, and each week ended with working on various assignments. With the quarter now coming to an end, these are my final thoughts. I will be going over the two major projects we had in class, reflect on my experiences with the various assignments and readings, and how my experience aligns with the course objectives of the TCOM 205 class, before ending off with a few final words. Early on in the quarter, we began the largest of the two projects. I was grouped up with 3 other students, and we were tasked with working with iFixit wiki and troubleshooting pages. We selected a troubleshooting page to improve and went to work. Unlike with past projects, there was more to do than just researching and writing drafts. 2 things that set the projects of the TCOM 205 class apart from past projects was that our final projects had to incorporate various specific techniques for effective communication with end users, and throughout each week we gradually stepped through the project with a very systematic approach. The topic of my team's troubleshooting page was a gaming mouse. Being a gamer myself and having fixed a couple of these mice personally, I consider myself quite familiar with the subject. But from past experience, I know that even with subject matters I am intimately familiar with, a bit of researching always produces something I hadn't known about before. Being familiar with the subject, I felt confident that my team could write a competent final product, so long as we were effectively communicated and organized ourselves appropriately. Because of our need to organize ourselves, not only to complete the project, but also as a prerequisite of the project, I took the initiative. Over the years, I've come to believe that 90% of work is just trying to get ourselves started with working. Once we get started, it's easy to keep going. With that in mind, I started writing posts and straw documents to spitball ideas for my teammates to latch onto as a starting foundation to work from. This initial work also includes researching a week ahead and writing short summaries to let my team know what obstacles lie ahead. My main focus was to make sure my teammates had a guess on how long each assignment would take, when they were due, and how I would highlight anything odd about each assignment that could easily be missed if my teammates didn't thoroughly read the assignment. Because I was familiar with the subject, I dedicated all my efforts to all the prep work. And because I took the initiative, my team was okay with giving me the title of project manager. With that, I was able to dedicate my efforts to planning material and organizing the team. One concern was that, while I was familiar with the subject, my team was not, which was one of the reasons why I wrote straw documents, to present new ideas to my teammates in an environment where it was okay for them to be unfamiliar with the information I presented. Because my team and I were effectively and regularly communicating with one another, we could break down our goals into tasks, distribute work out to those most comfortable with it, and smoothly go through the process. Everyone got a chance to edit and review any document multiple times. Doing so allowed each member of my team to try and implement the lessons of our teaching and communication we learned from our readings and video lectures. Given that we had members who were dedicated editors, edits were greatly encouraged, and this resulted in a mindset where we did not expect work to be fast and easy. Because of this mindset, it set the expectation to perfectly match the pace of our project. The last aspect of our project was all the bureaucratic-like documentation of our progress. Anything we worked on from start to finish took about 3 to 4 days before we, as a group, were ready to submit even the smallest of assignments, thanks in part to getting all the edits and approvals before submission. As for discussing the actual writing process for end users, how research was done, and writing of proposals and update memos, I moved to talking about our second assignment. For our second assignment, as individuals, we worked to write a how-to type repair guide. In both projects, research focused on simply getting familiar with what was out there. In the original troubleshooting page, the original writers were unfamiliar with the Razor ecosystem, resulting in an ineffective guide. With the repair guide, I found fuse replacement guides to be severely lacking. Having viewed countless how-to guides myself, I had a how-to-like voice in my head directing my writing. It was thanks to reviews by users and teammates that I could take a second look and see how course material would recommend I write, and implement any needed changes to get my work up to par, such as changing steps to better mimic habits of users. Writing proposals and letters took a bit more practice though. Reflecting back on class goals, the most I got out of this class was my experience from working with my team as project manager. The opportunity to take a leadership role really allowed me the experience to plan and magic writing projects, as well as effectively work with a team. I tend to work by myself, so that's not an issue either. While there was some talk of methods of communication and best practices discussed in the readings and lectures, just like with math, I don't learn something till I get it wrong and someone corrects me, as part of the process of getting familiar with this type of work. While I know there's a few aspects I did really well at, such as sentence structures, there are some things I still need a bit of work on. Lastly, for research and writing with a goal in mind, I spent a great deal of time cross-checking forums for useful information users were seeking. Although it took some time, I felt after a while I started to get the knack of writing with end users in mind, although having editors on my team greatly helped. Overall, TCOM 205 class was a fun experience. Managing to make quality work took quite a bit of time, more so than my other two classes combined, not only in researching and writing in a manner that's up to par, but also the bureaucracy of working with a team with such effectiveness was a new experience and I'm glad to have had. Before I end this presentation, I just want to say, best of luck out there.